What is your favorite book? Let me know in the comments below. My favorite book since I was probably 12 or 13 was and is The Count of Monte Cristo. What this story really meant to me was one of resilience. On the surface, The Count of Monte Cristo is a revenge tale. He was wronged by multiple people and he's left to kind of stew on these betrayals. And his life is forever reshaped by these terrible betrayals. But at the end of the day, he rises. He's essentially at the end of the world and left behind, and he picks himself up. He is able to survive terrible circumstances for a long length of time, and he comes out of it and he seeks revenge, and he does it in such a way that he collects a bunch of money and resources and all these different abilities to strengthen essentially this revenge plot. I remember maybe last summer I was speaking to a gentleman on a dating app, and he asked about my favorite book, and I told him, oh, it's The Count of Monte Cristo. And he kind of like laughed via text, and he was like, oh, so you're all about revenge, or something reductive like that. And I was like, oh no, I mean, for me the story is one of resilience and survival and really self-improvement and betterment. It's you know, a kind of phoenix rising from the ashes story. And the way that Alexander Dumas wrote the novel was as a serial. So a serial, like back in the days of Dumas or Dickens, was when a story was released week to week. So it took on a kind of soap opera form where there would be cliffhangers at the end of chapters, or just moments that really made you want to read the next chapter. So there's this kind of propulsion all through the novel where you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? And the benefit of being born, you know, a couple centuries after Dumas, that you have the whole book in your hands, so you can find out what happens next. And it just creates such a pleasure to read this story that is so rich with character motives. You understand every single character and what they're aiming, even if you don't agree. Even if the characters are immoral, you understand their perspectives and what shapes their decisions. And so even though the main character is the Count of Monte Cristo, I found myself deeply invested in the storylines all around him and how they resulted in really satisfying ways. To this day, it's still my favorite novel. It's still a story I think about and return to in my head, and someday I'll reread it. And so if you haven't read it, I highly recommend, and please let me know your favorite books in the comments below.